Hello, and welcome back to my humble show. I am your host for tonight and every other night, the Articulate Thinker. Hopefully, here to bring you art, articles, and articulation straight from Articulation Station. So be sure to like, subscribe, and enjoy the ride. Don't forget to turn on those bell notifications while you're at it. This will be a somewhat sad show because of all of the devastation in Hawaii. Lahaina, Maui, Hawaii. There on the coastline. Terrible fire over the weekend. Yeah. Here is the latest. Maui Fire live updates. This from NBC News. Death toll from wildfires rises to 99 as search for missing continues. The number of deaths is likely to keep rising as crews scour the ruins. NBC News is on location in Hawaii covering the devastation. Some of the locations are hard to get to or hard to get through. They have blocked some of the media, though apparently not all of the media, from being in the area because of, I guess, chemicals, toxins, hazardous materials. And I'm not going to speculate on the source of the fire all that much in this particular show. I'll leave that up to the savants on the internet, the experts, the internet experts who are tossing around theories about everything from space lasers to, I don't know, just hurricane winds, spreading fires, and down to power lines, that sort of thing. When such a large fire occurs, it is, of course, obviously difficult to trace back to the source of the fire, the flicker that turned into a flame. But, yeah, this is where we stand right now. And many more deaths will likely be listed before it is over with. So I'm going to get to the more political elements, more political aspects of this, but first let me just breeze through this article, see if there are any more updates. What to know about the wildfires, which, obviously, according to this article, are indeed wildfires, and it is true that there were hurricane winds blowing in, which made it all the more deadly because people had no time to escape the wrath of the flames. At least 99 people have died in Maui. More cadaver dogs are helping search Maui's charred ruins for the missing, and the teams have covered 25% of the affected zone. Since the fire that devastated the town of Lahaina, 1 million pounds of food has been delivered. Hawaii Governor Josh Green said the damage was estimated at close to $6 billion. He said the fires were likely to be the largest natural disaster in the state's history. NBC News teams are on the ground and reporting it from Maui. Yeah, a bit of a tourist trap, and people were literally trapped in this case. Ended up having to jump in the water to survive in many cases. Some people still, are going to succumb to the smoke at such a point of desperation. But devastation aside, I believe that some of the celebrities, people with celebrity status, had their mansions spared. I can't confirm this. I'm just seeing things, just hearing things. Something about how Oprah had a house in the area which was undamaged. How the Obamas had a house in the area which was undamaged. I don't even know if that's true. You get on Twitter and start scrolling far enough, you're going to find a lot of conflicting information. Some of it has community notes beneath it. Some of it doesn't. But I'm just trying to cover the news to the best of my ability here. I haven't even really talked about this much, but yes, I do have an edit up on my other channel, my Articulate Thinker news clips channel. I just uploaded it a little while ago. So if you would like to see some footage, some photos of the devastation, well, you can find a link to that channel in the description box below in my Linktree. Economic cost after Maui fires could trigger a local recession, analysis says. That is no surprise. So there are clips sprinkled throughout this article, but I just don't have time to click on everything. I don't have time to click around and find out too much, but I will continue reading and reacting. Let's see here. Hawaii governor says multiple reviews will assess preparedness. Obama puts out call to make Red Cross donation. I saw this on the aforementioned Twitter, or shall I say X. So you can donate. There are various ways to do that. I'll mention a couple of those momentarily. More than 50 animals have been rescued. Well, that is important, but rescuing people is even more important. So hopefully more people, live bodies will turn up. Identities of those killed to be released tomorrow, though I imagine many of them have yet to be identified. Tomorrow, police in Maui will start releasing the names of those killed in the wildfire that struck the Lahaina area if their families have been notified. Maui Police Chief John Pelletier today urged patience and respect, warning that if people trespass in burned areas, they could be disturbing remains of the dead. One person was arrested for trespassing today, he said. People definitely shouldn't be loitering at this point, as they sometimes do in times of crisis. Loitering, looting, in some cases shooting. I understand that people want numbers. It's not a numbers game. Right now we're at 99 souls and families, Pelletier said. As of today, 25% of the area has been searched, he said. 20 dogs are working the area. Most of the destroyed structures are residential. Around 86% of the more than 2,200 structures that were destroyed in the Maui wildfires are residential, Governor Josh Green said today. He said that housing for the displaced has been a priority and that people have taken survivors to their personal homes. I have heard that people there are quite charitable. If that is the case, well, that is the place to be, in a sense, but only in a sense, since, well, all of the devastation has already occurred. Green asked for patience from the people of the devastated town of Lahaina who want to return because cadaver dogs and searchers are looking for human remains. We know that it's frustrating, but this pace will accelerate, Green said, including reopening of the road. Officials have said areas in the burn zone are toxic and dangerous. Yeah, that makes sense. A clip from a press briefing here. More information, but tracking back in time, so the updates are going to be less updated. I'll go ahead and move on to the next thing, the more political thing. Not to politicize all of this. That's just kind of what happens. Political entities are attached to everything these days, for better or worse. So this is a tweet from Kankoa the Great, who I frequently reference in my shows, whether on my old channel or this channel. The old channel, which I am no longer recording shows on. Over 2,700 structures were destroyed in Lahaina, Maui, valued at approximately $5.6 billion. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden, with $115 billion sent to Ukraine, offers just $1.9 million, which is supposedly $700 per household, to Lahaina. This is deeply insulting. Now, obviously, not every home in Lahaina has been destroyed. Not every home in Maui. So I'm not sure how many households need that money. But the overall economy there is going to be affected one way or another. But that's somewhat besides the point. I guess let me know what you think down in the comment below about funding, where it should go, who deserves it. Obviously, we should focus on our country first, but is it a fair comparison? Since money has been sent to Ukraine, sure, but over a long period of time, a much longer period of time than just since the last few days, as is in the case of the wildfires, regardless of how wild the fires are. Don't want to argue with anyone on that. I don't know. If you know something that I don't know, let me know in the comments below. But, yeah, I don't want to turn this into a series of conspiracy theories. This is deeply insulting, says Kankoa the Great. And here's a screenshot from a tweet thread, an X thread, from President Biden himself, in which he said, "We're laser focused," which some people are having fun with, "on getting aid to survivors, including critical needs assistance, a one-time $700 payment per household, offering relief during an unimaginably difficult time. We have staff on the ground dedicated to helping survivors navigate the registration process." Obviously, this was on the heels of his weekend vacationing, during which he responded to questions by reporters on the matter, saying no comment. So that was a big deal. Yeah. Because he had so little to say about it. I remember not too long ago, if there was ever any type of crisis and Donald Trump was not front and center, facing it head on, well, he would get called a traitor, essentially. And one way or another, he would be considered a traitor. Whether he was playing golf or just relaxing or just working behind the scenes even. And I'm not saying that Joe Biden is incapable of doing that. His administration would have us believe that, in his 1/3 of his presidency, in which he has spent vacationing, according to the numbers, as far as I'm aware, well, his administration would have us believe that he was working that whole time, because he can work anywhere. He can work from home. He can work from his other home. He can work from the beach. Yeah, and I say beach because that's where he was part of this past weekend. Speaking of the beach. But what do you think about his no comment? And you can find the clip of that in my edited upload to my Articulate Thinker News Clips channel as well. I'm not going to play that here, but scrolling on down, Kankoa the Great adds this link from Hawaii News Now. Hawaii Community Foundation.org, Maui strong. If you like to support the people of Lahaina, Maui, you can do so here. Mahalo for your support. All right, and then people proceed to, comment below, as you can do. Here's a link to another article which someone by the name of Tracy shared, saying the same day he sent another $200 million to Ukraine, or at least that's when it was announced. I wasn't even aware of that until I saw this. U.S. announces new $200 million Ukraine aid package. I had that pulled up, but I may have deleted it, or exited out of it, I should say. So let me pull it up again. All right, so the U.S. on Monday announced a $200 million security assistance package for Ukraine, providing Kiev with another round of munitions and tactical vehicles for use in the fight against Russia. The latest package places total U.S. security assistance to Ukraine at roughly $43 billion since Russia invaded in February of 2022, meaning the remaining funds for Ukrainian forces is fast approaching their limit. Well, I believe the total amount of money sent over there is much more than that. That's just in regards to U.S. security assistance. There are other labels under which money can be sent and has been sent. But it's not a competition. Two different situations. I get that. I'm not going to say that we should just be walking and chewing bubblegum as politicians like to say. We can walk and chew bubblegum. But, you know, we only have so much money to spend. We should prioritize it. You tell me how that should be distributed, how it should be prioritized. Here is that link to that Hawaii Community Foundation.org Maui Strong website with the options to donate in various amounts. Check that out if you want to, or I can send you any information if you're interested. If you just so happen to be watching my show. If so, well, first and foremost, I appreciate you. But not as much as the residents of Maui would appreciate your support. All right, so here is the aforementioned thread by President Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe, Dark Brandon, whatever you want to call him. As residents of Hawaii mourn the loss of life and devastation taking place across their beautiful home, we mourn with them. Like I've said, not only our prayers, let me enlarge this text a bit, are with those impacted, but every asset we have will be available to them. Here's the latest. So obviously his tweets, his posts are not posted by himself. He could be on the beach somewhere and someone else is just going to be posting for him. So who knows how aware of any of this he actually is. He may be thinking about ice cream for all we know. But I will read the rest of his thread here. All right. 1. FEMA's temporary sheltering assistance is now available for residents who were displaced from their homes by the wildfires, allowing survivors to shelter in hotels or motels temporarily as they develop a long-term housing plan. 2. We're laser-focused on getting aid to survivors. Yada, 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 bing, bang, boom. This is what I already read, courtesy of the screenshot in Kankoa's post to Twitter, to X. So I'll skip that one. 3. We're making sure all residents receive critical information so they can take steps to move forward in the recovery. This includes translating materials into the most common languages spoken in the islands and working closely with trusted community-led organizations. 4. I'm urging residents to apply for FEMA assistance. Survivors with internet and telephone access can register for assistance by visiting disasterassistance.gov, calling 1-800-621-3362, or by using the FEMA app. 5. And for those trying to locate loved ones, a family assistance center is open at the Kahului, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Community Center. Alright, so those with phone access can also call the Red Cross at 1-800-733-2767. I doubt anyone who is watching this show, if anyone is watching this show, will be from the area and need this information. But hey, I'll provide it nonetheless because it's part of the thread here. From the President of the United States, or shall I say the Resident of the United States. So people have posted memes below because I don't take Joe all that seriously. and I cannot blame them for that. So here's this from Mostly Peaceful Memes. Biden presidential visits. 1 to Ukraine, 0 to Hawaii, 0 to East Palestine. Oh, there's that. Throw the border in there. He did make 1 visit to the border. To take photos, to get his photo taken in front of the border wall as a sign of strength, despite refusing to build any more of the border wall because it's racist or something like that. Interesting how that works. That's a point I like to make. But yeah, as for East Palestine, him and his administration have been promising for months and months and months and months and months that he is going to go. I mean, I think off the cuff he said early on that he was going to go. He got tired of people asking him if he was going to go. He had no plan, but then he was like, yeah, of course I'm going to go. Stop asking me, dang it. I'm going to go. Because that's what I do. But he never did that. And so now every time Karine Jean-Pierre, press secretary, is asked whether or not he is finally going to go at some point, she just says, well, he keeps his word, so yes, he's going to go. But he still hasn't gone. And now there are other places to go. And as for Kamala Harris, well, I don't even know what she has said about all of this, but who really cares? It's not like she was all that productive in taking care of the border crisis, since she was the czar, and she never went at all. Not technically. She just went near the border. Trump versus Biden. I'm not going to play this. What else do we have here? Another Mostly Peaceful Memes meme. Ukraine, Biden, Hawaii. And then down here at the bottom of the ocean, East Palestine. Oh, look at this. No comment. Also from Mostly Peaceful Memes. They're on a roll, aren't they? And there he is eating ice cream with $10 bills in his other hand as the air fills with smoke from the fires of Lahaina. Moving on. I have some articles pulled up. See what they have to say about all of this, and then I'll wrap the show up. And if there's anything more to add, I'll add it later. The numbers are obviously going to increase some more. Unfortunately, that is the inevitable. So, yes, maybe I'll be back. But until then, here is this article from Rebel News. Joe Biden's silence on Maui wildfire raises eyebrows. And to be 100% accurate, he is back in business now. His press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, is back at the press podium. Finally, it has been a while since she has done a press briefing, but she did one today. And of course, she wanted to overly emphasize the part that Joe Biden has played in all of this because of the criticism from over the weekend and his no comment. She wanted to say, oh, he is involved every step of the way. Because that's what happens whenever there's a bad news cycle for the Bidens. She gets up there and kind of sugarcoats everything. But that's just her job in general. She's the sugarcoat secretary, the propaganda secretary. I mean, it's what she's paid to do, so I can't completely blame her. The fires have wreaked havoc on the historic Lahaina town, with estimates suggesting damages could surge to a staggering $6 billion. In the face of the devastating Maui wildfire, the most lethal in the United States over the past century, with the death toll nearing 96, and at this point it is, according to what I've previously read, over 96 now, President Joe Biden offered a surprising no comment while exiting a Delaware beach. He was also on his bicycle earlier. And he was asked from the side of the pathway if he had anything to say about the fires, the death toll. And he just said, "We're watching it," and kept riding right on by. The fires have wreaked havoc on the historic Lahaina town, which estimates suggesting damages could surge to a staggering $6 billion. All right, and here is a photo of him at the beach. Maybe I'll pull that up full screen just in case I need it for a thumbnail. Let's see here. Nah, probably not. Probably won't use that. Either way. After a couple hours on the Rehoboth Beach, or Rehoboth, or however you pronounce that beach, POTUS was asked about the rising death toll in Hawaii. No comment, he said before heading home. This muted response contrasts sharply with Biden's earlier promises of fostering empathy and compassion as the nation's leader. During his 2020 presidential campaign, he underscored the importance of understanding and sharing experiences and healing divisions. Or importance of understanding and shared experiences and healing divisions. Empathy matters. Compassion matters. We have to reach out to one another and heal this country. And that's what I'll do as president. He wrote on Twitter, now X, at the time. When you have a real problem and it's devastating to you, and someone comes up and says, I know how you feel. But someone comes up to you and says, I've been through this. Okay, that's a weirdly worded sentence. I think I read that correctly. Still weirdly worded. I can tell you I know how you feel. You immediately say, tell me, because all people are looking for this. All people are looking for is to say, you made it. You look at them and you say intuitively, I guess there's a way through. I guess I can make this. I guess I can make it. All right, so here's a clip from Joe Biden's account on X. An old clip. Empathy matters. Compassion matters. We have to reach out to one another and heal this country. And that's what I'll do as president, he said. It's not wanting to play. Let me pull it up on Twitter. Sorry for the wait. It's getting late. I'm very tired. But this is a 2020 tweet right here.
When you have a real problem and it's devastating to you, and someone comes up and says, I know how you feel. But someone who comes up to you and says, I've been through this. I can tell you, I know how you feel. You immediately say, tell me. Because all people are looking for is to say, you made it. You look at them and you say intuitively, I guess there's a way through. I guess I can make this. I guess I can make it. My mom had an expression. She said, Joey, you're defined by your courage and redeemed by your loyalty. It really is about reaching out. We just have to reach out a little more for people, man. We didn't used to be like this. We've got to heal this country.
All right, so he has the tendency to be the most empathetic when he can relate to it and essentially make it about himself. Perfect example of that would be, well, the example of him going up to the Gold Star families, the parents of the fallen soldiers from the withdrawal of Afghanistan, and telling them that he knew how they felt, and in some cases even telling them that his son came home in a flag-draped coffin, which was an outright lie. So sometimes when he says, I understand you, it's a complete lie, and it doesn't actually make people feel better because they see through it and they realize that you're just making it about yourself. It's a very cookie-cutter, cliche message a lot of times. So his healing approach needs a bit of reproach. It's not as deep as some people seem to think. I'm not saying he's all bad. I'm just saying He's not what he was cracked up to be. Not that he was cracked up to be much. It's just that Trump was cracked down to be so much that Joe Biden stepped in a way that he never would have otherwise, seeing as he had multiple failed campaigns in the past. But then suddenly, he became the most popular presidential candidate in the history of America. Yeah. As the oldest president of the United States of America. Moreover, Biden's self-portrayal as a dedicated family man has been questioned in light of his apparent reluctance to acknowledge his seventh grandchild, Navy Joan Roberts. Critics argued this inconsistency cast doubt on his genuine capacity for empathy and familial affection. Before the Maui tragedy, the 2018 Camp Fire in California held a grim record of the deadliest wildfire, claiming 85 lives. Yeah, California has its fair share of fires. So does my state, Washington, and Oregon nearby. Some fires going on right now. Here's an article from Newsmax. Biden slammed for saying no comment on Maui disaster. President Joe Biden refused to comment on the rising death toll in Hawaii after he spent several hours on Sunday relaxing on the beach in Delaware during his vacation, the Daily Mail reported. As Biden left the beach, he was asked for his response to the wildfires that have killed 96 people, to which he replied, no comment. I could click the link to this Daily Mail article. I'm sure it would be more extensive, but it might take longer to get through. So I'll stick to this one. During a bike ride earlier in the day, Biden gave a similar answer when asked about the tragedy, which is Hawaii's worst natural disaster ever, saying, we're looking at it. If you're going to say something more thorough than that. Otherwise, just don't say anything. You know the expression, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? Well, if you don't have anything informative to say, don't say anything at all. There's that. The president's response to the tragedy generated harsh criticism, with Monica Crowley, U.S. Treasury Department Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs during the Trump administration, posting on X that Biden doesn't care about the suffering of people in Maui or the suffering of people in East Palestine, Ohio, from the toxic spill unleashed by a train derailment there earlier this year, or the suffering people in border towns, or the suffering people anywhere in America. Republican Carrie Lake, who lost her election to be Arizona's governor last year, also slammed Biden, writing on X that one of the most beautiful places on earth has been reduced to cinders. In Delaware, Joe Biden can't be bothered to care. Putting America first means getting this joker out of the White House. Lake added that Biden rode his bike to the beach while the people of Lahaina, Hawaii, dug through the ashes of their scattered community, and Nero fiddled while Rome burned. I mean, he might be doing the least amount of harm there on his beach or on his bicycle. But still, if you're the president, you gotta preside. Last week, Biden declared a major disaster on Maui, vowing that the federal response will ensure that anyone who's lost a loved one or whose home has been damaged or destroyed is going to get help immediately, according to the New York Post. White House officials said Sunday that Biden was updated by FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell on the situation in Maui, according to Fox News. Following that, Biden posted a comment on X late Monday morning, stating that as residents of Hawaii mourn the loss of life and devastation taking place across their beautiful home, we mourn with them. Like I've said, not only our prayers are with those impacted, but every asset we have will be available to them. The president added, we're laser focused on getting aid to survivors, including critical needs assistance, a one-time $700 payment per household, offering relief during an unimaginably difficult time. It's not going to do them much good if they don't even have a house. We have staff on the ground dedicated to helping survivors navigate the registration process. Maybe we would have more money to spend on them if Of course, we weren't sending it elsewhere in the world. Hawaii Democrat says Biden's no comment on wildfires. Shocking. I would expect more. Former Hawaii Congressman Green, New Deal Network director, says Biden has fallen short on climate change. Also, Tulsi Gabbard, who has very strong ties to the area, well, she has had a lot to say about all of this. A voice worth listening to. Exclusive. A Hawaii Democrat criticized President Biden's response to reporters' question about the deadly fires in his state as shocking and quite disappointing. And this is just so you know, it's not only Republicans who have criticized him. Some Democrats have. Not that many. But, yeah, some. Bloomberg White House correspondent Justin Sink reported Sunday that Biden had nothing to say during his Delaware Beach getaway on the rising death toll due to severe wildfires, which reached 96 as of Monday afternoon, with hundreds more missing. After a couple of hours on Rehoboth Beach, I hear the word said by the Biden administration, but now I can't remember how it's pronounced, so I'm doing my best. POTUS was asked about the rising death toll in Hawaii. No comment, he said before heading home. Sink reported on X, formerly known as Twitter. Video footage of the exchange appeared to corroborate Sink's account. Another Biden beach photo. He has been there a lot lately. He just returned from like several different vacations. And he seems to take them at, well, somewhat inappropriate times. The comment sparked a wave of backlash, including by former Hawaii State Representative Mark Kanila Ing, a Democrat who now serves as national director for the Green New Deal Network. I campaigned for you. Now when I lose dozens of my friends, family, and neighbors, this? Kanila Ing wrote in a now deleted post. So, I wonder why he deleted the post. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a moment of angst, the truth comes out, only to be removed from social media because of the greater good of keeping Joe Biden in office, right? Don't want to criticize him too much. Might hurt his chances. Though if he's slacking this much, is he even intending to run in the re-election? We'll see. Kanila Ing told Fox News Digital in a phone interview Monday that he found Biden's remarks shocking and out of character. When things like this happen, it's really the time to, if you do the kind of work I do, when the wave crests, you've got to paddle hardest, he said. When tragedies like this occur, it's shocking to see people just conducting business as usual. On the one hand, you don't want everyone to be in a perpetual somber mood, but on the other hand, you could just carry on like that. I think everyone deserves some time to take care of themselves, wind down, but as someone in a leadership role, you need to be ready any moment to offer some empathy and solace and comfort to people that are facing a lot of trauma right now, he said. Kanila Ing said he deleted his post because he thought Biden's exchange with reporters may have been more nuanced than initially reported. Really? How can a response in which you have nothing to say be nuanced? I don't know. Whether or not it was as dismissive as originally reported, it was quite disappointing, he added, adding, I would expect more. Fair enough. He should be talking about what he's done and what he will do, he said. The talking and offering of words of solace and comfort, great. I'm not too hung up on that, to be honest. What I'm looking for is action. Kanila Ing said his Green New Deal network wants three things from Biden that it believes he has fallen short on, or else these disasters are going to keep happening more frequently and more severe. Declare a climate emergency, which is another narrative to take from all of this. Deny fossil fuel permits. That's where the Green New Deal network comes in. And invest substantial federal funds to the tune of $1 trillion a year, he said. Now, you're not asking much, are you? Hawaii came out for Biden in a big way, and I think President Biden and anyone running for president right now needs to address this head on, not just in terms of immediate relief, but in longer-term recovery and accountability. So some people are chalking this up to climate change, global warming, so on and so forth. I don't know what to say about all of that. But it was a bad fire, regardless of why it was a bad fire. When reached for comment by Fox News Digital Monday morning, White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates explained that the president released a statement on the fires last week and also pointed to the governor's positive comments about the federal response on multiple Sunday shows. The White House later released a statement that read, President Biden has mobilized and led a whole-of-government response to the wildfires in Hawaii from the beginning, working closely on it and receiving detailed briefings every day since. Almost to the end of the article, then I'll wrap the show up. Yesterday, he received 2 updates from FEMA Administrator Criswell while she was on the ground, the statement continued. As Governor Green stressed yesterday, within 6 hours of receiving Hawaii's request, President Biden signed a major disaster declaration and ordered all available federal resources in the state to help with the response. Governor Green described this as having provided amazing support for recovery. Senator Hirono, Macy Hirono, who is unbearable, also thanked President Biden for the immediate support federal agencies have delivered for the residents of Hawaii, as has Senator Schatz. Okay. I'm glad I don't have that last name. You know, if Donald Trump was the president right now and he provided the exact same amount of support and commentary, these same Democrats who are praising Joe Biden, though obviously not all of them are, well, they would definitely be condemning Donald Trump practically to death. Just going to put that out there, especially if he was on the beach, as Joe Biden has been. Like President Biden said on Thursday, I have directed that we surge support to these brave firefighters and first responders and emergency personnel working around the clock. I'm going to make sure the state has everything it needs from the federal government to recover, the White House statement added. All right. Good talk. And I do have one more article pulled up here. I don't know if it has anything which I haven't already covered. There's an image for you. No, I can backtrack out of this a bit. Let me bring it back to the initial article here on NBC News. Death toll from wildfires rises to 99 as search for missing continues. Up and up and up and up. In the worst possible way. So, what else can I say? Well, thanks for watching my show. Keep in touch, keep in tune. New content is coming soon. Feel free to disagree with me on anything I've said. Sorry if I sound low energy. I am, in fact, low energy right now. I thought I had energy when I started recording, and every step of the way has just been a shade of gray. Just like my shirt. So, try as I may. It is what it is. Peace.